take a shopping, it's the same thing every time. Just tell me what you want.
This, them, and those.
All free?
But I really want them. This, them, and those.
In the mall at the Gucci store, it's
This, them, and those.
Jimmy Choo's for my main boo.
This, them, and those.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel where Pony tells it all. Today we'll be discussing what it means to submit and to be submissive to your partner, and does it still exist in 2021? You guys already know, babe, Hancho no dice. So we'll just get right into it. Submissiveness and to submit. What comes to your mind?
Well, when you say submit, that comes across as giving up one's will. It's more so like being forced. If someone puts you in submission, that's more so you're being forced to do something. Submissive is more of your own will. You're doing something out of your own will. No one's forcing you to do anything. So that's what the submit and submissive. A lot of times when people talk relationships, they say submit, but they get those words. They're different meaning. If you say submit, it sounds a little harsher. Like, you want me to submit to you? Well, you're not my slave. So you're not submitting to me, because that's what a slave would do. So to submit is out of, I'm not forcing you, but because you love me, you do this because it's going to make me happy and make the relationship, what it is.
I think when I think of submit, I do agree. I think of maybe a king or, royalty or your majesty. Submissive to me, when I think of it, I can only think of me being submissive to God. That's what comes to me. There is people that are and still do submit and is submissive in their home. However, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's more so boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage? I personally think that it could be based upon religion, but what are your thoughts?
I think being submissive is more so a marriage thing, because when you're married, people get married to be right with God, and under God, the requirements of certain things in a marriage, like He requires woman to be submissive, to be a helpmeet, that sort of thing. He requires me, man, to love you like I love my own body and protect you. So there's a standard when marriage. Boyfriend and girlfriend is more so, if you want to do it, it's no obligation. We can walk away from this today or tomorrow, and, so it's a difference.
Am I submissive to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You have it in a natural way of being submissive. I don't have to ask you to do. I don't have to ask you to treat me right. I don't have to ask you. I don't have to ask you to make love to me. I don't have to ask you to, when I'm hungry, to make food. I don't have to ask you, the cleaning. Like the stuff you do on your own. Just like being a great woman that you are.
So. I don't know if I'm submissive. I honestly think that organically, if I'm passionate about something or someone, I study them. I learn their likes, their wants, their dislikes. Do I think I would technically be called submissive to Anthony? No. And again, reasons why, because when I picture submissive, I feel as though I am submissive with the man upstairs. Like, just period. Like, on God, I am submissive to Him. Today or tomorrow, if this man is not in my life, I'm still going to be submissive to this man upstairs, who does not let me down, who does not walk away, who's there at all times in every aspect of my life. I tend to think that a lot of men, and I could be wrong, but go to a different race to feel more of a empowerment. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, empowerment is such a harsh and bold word. I think.
And so is submissive to me.
I think when you say, the black man obviously gets treated better by women of different nationalities.
How do they know that? It's a myth. It's a stereotype.
It's not a myth.
That
It's not a myth. It's more so of being a black. Here's why you know it's not a myth. Average black man, as his upbringing, his mother's black, his aunties, whatever. He's raised with a black woman. He dates a black woman until he's old enough to be able to choose his woman. And we have a lot of brothers that are choosing to be with women of a different nationality. Primarily, it's because of their upbringing and their respect that they have for their fathers. In every race other than the African American race, it is inbred in the woman to love and respect her man. We have a problem in the African American community where our women don't respect us for whatever reasons. No one's, I'm not casting any aspersions on women or the men, but in our community, our women don't respect the black man like other nationality of women respects their men.
I find it funny that you think that way, because a lot of the times the way black women carry themselves is due to the fact and the outcome of how the black men have acted or treated black women. So even with all the Black Lives Matters and, the struggle of how we preach that black people been through some hard times, it's kind of contradicting yourself, because now you're saying that this black woman that then struggled and been through hell and back, you're going to go to, you don't understand her strength and her struggle, but you'll acknowledge another race, and they really, not saying that other races do not have the same struggles, but you're basically saying the black woman come with too much stuff.
I think, first and foremost, men are men. White men dog white women just like black men dog black women. So men is men. I think the difference is the way they look at their men, the way they treat their men, because of the esteem they treat their men, you know that they're going to treat their son with the same respect.
Or how about is it if how they seen their dad treat their mothers? Like, why do you think that it's okay to say, okay, let's go to another race? People go off of what they're being taught. So if they see in a black home where your mother is yelling at the dad, chances a lot of the times the dad deserved it. And there's a reason. There's black women that will ride and die for their men. Like, hands down, will put up with some bullshit, the fuckery stuff, and the brokenness, the cheating, and still get no praises. She's still coming off as an angry, bitter black woman with a baby.
Well, I think, and you're right, I'm not disputing that, but what trumps all that for men, ladies, a man wants to be a king in his castle. I'm testosterone, you're estrogen. Woman testosterone, man testosterone, man's gonna go where he's king of his castle.
And that's where the submissive comes in, and
Always.
submitting, because
Because
they want to feel like, if you're in an argument, you should know your place to be quiet.
No, not
or
that.
You should hush up when even when you're standing on something you stand by, that's coming off as an angry person.
No, I'm not. No. It's not that you had to, cower down. No, that's not what it is. But a man wants to be. A man has to be king of his castle. Why? Because that's what God inbred it in us. You were taken from our rib. So when it gets to biologically, when it feels as though I'm getting the energy like you're a guy, a man's gonna go where he can lead his pack.
And back to what I was saying as the struggle of a black woman. A lot of the times there are other races. I have girlfriends that are different races. They cannot relate to my type of struggle. Only thing I can say is that all women now in 2021, whether you're Asian, black, Puerto Rican, we all understand bullshit from a man. So we can agree to that.
But let me ask you a question. When you say the black woman struggle, can you elaborate on that? Because all right, but I'm asking you that so we can be clear. What makes the black woman experience different from the other races of women?
I personally think that with black men, they tend to abandon their problems. Or let them think that it's a problem. So the fastest way they can get over things is just to abort it. Whereas though a lot of the times there is a black woman that now picks up a lot of slack. I think a lot of other races, they may do some effed up stuff, but they still handle their responsibilities. Back in the day, you might have known, where, and this goes back in time where you would know that your husband is out there cheating, but guess what? He still came home, he made sure the kids was right, he made sure the house was okay. These men today just get up and go, and they go for whatever other race they think will sit up there and take their baggage and take on their responsibilities, which is other race women. Black women don't want somebody else's baggage. We just don't.
Let me ask you a question, because that's perfect. It's perfect for what I'm about to ask you. Do you feel some type of way when you see your black brother with a different nationality of a woman?
I don't feel some type of way, because it seems like they go deal with, if they're dealing with a white woman, now she's mimicking a black woman.
In what regards?
To her style, her image, the way she talks. I feel as though not a lot of white women are being organically themselves. I think now they're trying to be what they think that this black man wants. So now they're trying to imitate a black woman.
That's heavy.
Not knowing he's running from the black woman. So he don't want you to be what he's running from.
Running from?
Running from. You're saying you want the woman to be submissive and all these type of things, but a black woman is only angry or frustrated or strong because of the situation she's been forced to be in. A lot of white people and other races don't have the same problems as us black women.
Well, I'm not going to minimize the black woman's plight. We both understand what the black woman has experienced and been through. I will say for me and a lot of other men, is a little bit more simplified than that. I think when you're dealing with the aspect of love first. I can love any race. A woman's a woman. So a man's going to go where he finds love, first and foremost. And then secondly, again, I stress that, my sister tends to have a little bit too much, because it could be hurt, it could be learned behavior, it could be struggle. But, when a woman gives off the energy of a man with testosterone and she can't be dominant. Like if you want a man, a woman has to accept that you cannot be dominant. That man is supposed to be the leader of his household. I
agree, but you have some children that grow up and watch their mother hold it down. Like, hold it down. Dad then skipped town, left, vanished, and the mom has been the rock. Where you have some men that literally grow up and want a woman identically to their mother.
I'll say this. I think when a man deserves it, when he deserves to be praised, yes. Not every man deserves to have a woman. I think when you have a woman, bears responsibility. So I'm with you on that. I'm not saying just because a man is a man that a woman should be submissive to him, because he has to prove. He has to be a man to earn these things.
A lot of men literally prey on weak women.
Absolutely.
If you come off an inkling of too strong, they're getting you the hell out of there. If they feel as though you're a threat to them, and that's some issues with men.
Well,
they gotta step up their game and being the leader.
Well, I will say that opens up a lot of men feel as though a woman with money, it changes her, where it changes the whole structure. But that's so granted, in the black community, the women are more successful than the men. I think that plays into it because it's hard to tell someone who's the breadwinner of the household that pays the bills, that makes the money. It's hard to tell them to cower down to you or to be, or to put, because they're holding it down. It's just natural. I mean, whoever is doing the most is going to feel the most entitled to be the leader. So I think there's a lot of that going on in our community. I'm not gonna lie. With me, I've had all different types of women and in my lifetime. But for me, you're the perfect balance. You're not weak. You are strong when I need you to be strong. And you are a woman that I know that if I'm not around, I don't have to worry about you holding it down.
I think that I've never dated outside of my race. A lot of the times, it's just never been an opportunity to me, but I think, and people tell me all the time, I come off too strong, and I don't know how to tone that down. Not saying that I would, because I wouldn't. My strength is what got me here today, and my children, they will learn from being a strong woman. Not to say that I don't need a man, but to know that I can do without one.
Well, I would never teach any woman in our race to feel like they have to reduce themselves to fit into someone's expectation or criteria of them. You don't ever reduce yourself, and that's with a relationship regardless. Now, strength will be appreciated by someone strong. If it comes across that you have too much strength, then I'm checking the man because maybe he's too weak. Because I'm a strong man, and I know your strength. Your strength doesn't intimidate me. Your strength actually complements me because we can, operate on the same level. It's a mutual respect. It's a love, mutual respect. And I know, my partner, I know you can hold it down if I'm not around. So it should complement one another, not tear each other down.
Definitely with like the generations, it's changed. We live in a suburban area where there is a lot of mixed relations. So this will be my kids' new norm. Whereas though growing up in Philly, we both know that you didn't really see too many of mixed relations. It might have been maybe Black and Puerto Rican, or so now it's just out here heavy to the point that these kids will not know anything different than they like, this girl and she's maybe Chinese or Caucasian or things like that. What do you feel? I know you made a statement before, and I actually heard someone tell me this, that they feel as though their husband eats before everyone.
Yeah, I was. It's an old Christian fable, where they always break it down like, if you were stranded, if we were in Antarctica somewhere, and it was one plate of food, and they would ask the woman, well, who are you going to feed? Who's going to get the plate of food? The husband or your children? And the answer always comes back, well, I'm going to feed the husband. Why are you going to feed the husband? Because the husband is the one that has to go out there and hunt for the family. If you feed the children can't hunt. That'd be full, with the husband die, which in return, everyone dies. Because the whole thing is, if you keep the man strong, the man can go hunt for the family and provide for the family. If you allow the man to die, the family dies. So that's where that little folktale comes from.
Now that we're in 2021, we're all going to eat together. Due to the circumstance, if he comes in, he's hungry, yes. But that again makes me think of submit. You have to eat. Here's your food. Everybody sit around, wait. He has to eat first. you're going to eat, the food's going to be great, you're going to love it, but we're going to eat together.
Yeah, it was more so in drastic situations.
But this person does still, in their lifestyle, they feed their husband first.
And they should, because here's the other side of it that they always talk about. When God gives you your husband, that's your husband. Why is that important? Because when your children grow up, they're going to find themselves their husband and their wives. And if they find themselves their husband and their wives, who takes care of you? Your husband. This is why God puts so much emphasis on the husband and the wife. Because if when he gives you a husband, your husband is your protector, your provider, your everything. If you put your children over your husband, there's no one in your elder years to hold you down, and your children will go off and find their wives or their husbands.
I get it. I just don't understand, why is it not more of a unity? Like when I look at old movies and kings and queens, they didn't feed their husbands first. They ate together.
It's a structure. Women were taken from man's rib. God talks to man to talk to the woman. God created Adam. He made Adam in charge of Eve. It's a structure. God has a structure and an order. So if you are under the structure of God, you understand that my husband is being led by God to lead me and his family. This is the order of it. God doesn't have a woman. He's God. He has every emotion from, testosterone and estrogen. That's how he can make woman out of man's. God is everything. So he understands the structure and the order. This is what most people that get married buy into, the structure and order of God. It's easy for us in our take God aside. If I just take God aside, then it makes sense what you're saying. It makes sense. Well, why should I put you over my children? These are my children, I'm for. But when you look at it from the way God wants you to look at it, this is what people, tend to go off of. It's more so God's will and what his order. It may not make sense to us, but because it's something that he structured and he wants, this is why we do it.
As you can see, again, me and Anthony, we definitely have our different opinions on relationships. Yes, he says I am submissive. I say I'm not. I just say that I love and I make sure my man is good. Submissive, I don't think I would ever claim to be submissive. He'll probably tell people my wife is submissive to me.
Well, I would say that because if I ask you to do something, you do it. I don't have to.
Well, then that would be a term to use for everybody.
No, not in every baby.
Because it has to come from
you,
the person that you're dealing with.
You have a love and a respect for me. This is the reason why you act and do the things you do for me. If I wasn't the way that I am to you, if you wasn't happy, you probably wouldn't do these things.
That's why when I first dated, I said if I am passionate or love or care for someone or something, I study them. Meaning I look at you, I watch your moves, I watch your eyebrow lift, I watch your smile, I watch your body, position, I watch you. So that comes naturally to me. Submissive means I am catering to God. That's the only person or spiritual being that I will be submissive to. I organically do what a woman is to do for something she loves or someone.
Let me throw this up one point. Let me throw this another point at you too. The reason why the submissive thing is big with God in the marriage because you can't see God, smell God, touch God, hear God, or eat God. The only thing that you have in resemblance of God on this earth is your husband. Because your husband is supposed to love you in the way that God will want him to love you. God can't.
But that's all on different people's beliefs. Everybody does not believe in the same higher power, whereas though you have
Absolutely.
a religion where some men can have several wives. So where does this, like, how does that even make sense to be submissive to someone when you're sharing someone?
Well, it aligns on what you believe. If me and you believe two separate things, how can we be compatible? See, that's a big thing in marriage. I mean, a lot of people want to, they either don't want to talk about it or they want to dance around it. Being what the Bible called equally yoked is a big thing. If you're Muslim and I'm Christian, we're on opposite sides of the spectrum as far as the things that we believe. Because
that's also with race.
Absolutely.
That's with a lot of black men that's running to these white women or vice versa, or Asian, or whatever the case may be. Their upbringing is different, very much so different. So when I think that if, depending on the circumstances, if my children live in a suburban area and they're around a lot of Caucasian girls, my boys are gonna like what they see. But when me and you are coming from and where me and you grew up, that's a difference. The black men are running away from their problems, thinking that they're going to get a whole different environment, person, lifestyle, dealing with another race.
Well, I'm not one to say that another
White men don't really have a struggle as much as a black man. So their white woman can't possibly relate to a struggled life and be angry and more, some men may say even bitter. So this is why they don't get that from if you go with a white woman. You don't get that from her.
I disagree, babe. Because there are white people and Puerto Rican people that are poor and know the struggle. So I can't say that just because we're not the black folk aren't the only ones struggling. I'll say now, in my experience, there are like it's a thing in Philly. You can tell in South Philly. South Philly is probably the only neighborhood, only section of the city where you have multicultural, multiracial. Back in Philly, I'm talking.
Right.
Back ago, so because they went to school together and been around, it wasn't uncommon to see a white girl and a black girl.
Because they were mostly in the black community.
And it was a mixed community because you have Italian on this side, black there. So it wasn't uncommon. Now in West Philly and North Philly, it was rare you see a mixed couple or a mixed relationship. So I think it's more so about if she can relate to your struggle, if she grew up with you, she grew up in the environment, I think she can relate to your struggle. Yeah, so I think she can understand it if she's a part of it.
Right.
Now, a woman growing up out here in the burbs can't possibly relate to me, a guy growing up down the bottom of West Philly. Like, she's not going to have a clue of what I've seen, of how I grew up, the environment, what I've been through. She wouldn't have a clue. So, yeah, I think if she can relate, if she relates to you as far as the upbringing, yeah, she could probably relate to you as far as relationship.
We have our differences, and guys, feel free to leave a comment, your opinions. Again, this is just something that one of many things that me and Anthony talk about in our home. We love all race. We
Absolutely.
teach to learn and to love whomever for who they are and what they are. I ask that you tune into my next episode. Follow me on Instagram _pony_. Babe, do you want to give yours?
Yeah, my Instagram is Honcho _ no dice, HAUNCHO _ NODICE _ just follow me, chat with me, open dialogue.
So thank you guys again. Tune in, subscribe, hit the like button, share, and again, comment. Even if it's something that I may not want to hear, hell. But guys, be safe and take care. We'll see you soon.
Peace.